Friend, greetings from my channel again. Due to their appearances on the well-liked TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting, the Duggar family has long enthralled everyone. They seem to have the perfect family dynamic, have 19 kids, and live a very devout lifestyle. The Duggars have drawn praise and criticism for these reasons. Josie, the youngest of the Duggar children, has frequently been the focus of attention. She overcome a number of challenges during her amazing journey from an early birth to becoming a young adult. Josie Duggar is currently going through a significant transition and has started a new stage of her life that symbolizes growth, change, and self-reliance. Josh's wedding marked the beginning of a new era. Josie recently got married, marking the beginning of her adult life and an exciting and liberating milestone. Josh's wedding took place in a beautiful outdoor ceremony, and many of the people who have been following her journey from her birth were present. When Josie exchanged vows with her long-term partner, the love, happiness, and the prospect of a new beginning filled the air. The journey Josie traveled to the altar was not without its challenges. Growing up, Josie Duggar was indoctrinated with a strong sense of family values by her parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle. She was raised with the family's conventional Christian values and the expectation that she would marry like her siblings. Like many of her Duggar family, Josie was raised to believe that courtship, rather than dating, was how relationships should be approached by young adults. Despite her family's long-standing expectations and conventions, Josie has been successful in creating her own route in life. When she met her partner in a world far different from the rigidly structured Duggar household, she made a huge leap towards self-determination. Her marriage marked the end of her single life, as well as the beginning of her adulthood as a self-sufficient woman. For many, marriage represents a symbolic departure from the Duggar past. Duggar children. However, Joss made a unique marriage decision. In contrast to her older brothers, who had already accepted the customary duties of the family, Josie discovered herself when she set out on her expedition. She needed to stop living up to the expectations that were put on her. Throughout her childhood, Josie was viewed as the family's baby, and her older siblings often attempted to influence her choices. Josie is stepping out of the shadow cast by her family's history and into a world where she can choose her own course. As a married woman, she made it apparent during her wedding that she was prepared to begin a new chapter in her life that does not conform to the stereotype of the Duggar. Josie respects and cherishes her family, but she is ready to go out on her own and not let her past hold her back. Josie, who has been in the public eye her entire life, is making a significant change with this. Josie's personal growth beyond the world of 19 children and counting is among the most noteworthy aspects of her narrative. Despite her reality TV show's emphasis on traditional gender roles and family values, Josie has paved her own way. With its modern features and unique touches, her wedding demonstrated that she is no longer bound by the strict customs of her youth, and that she and her husband are starting a new chapter in their lives. Joss's new husband, whose name many people are still wondering about, is a significant part of this new chapter in her life. They met as Josie was attempting to avoid the Duggar family's attention from the paparazzi. She and her spouse, in contrast to many of her siblings, have a more modern and personal perspective on marriage that is founded on respect and understanding for one another. Unlike the normal Duggar courting, where parents often micromanage their children's interactions, Josie and her husband's courtship developed more naturally. Developing a closer bond based on communication, trust, and shared values, they became acquainted outside of the family's principles. Josie views this relationship as an opportunity to finally live her life as she wants, free from the limitations placed on her by her family's high position. The wedding ceremony's subject was honoring the couple's unique journey together. This wedding was smaller in scope and attended by intimate friends and family, in contrast to the extravagant festivities that the Duggars' large families and loyal fan following attended during their prior marriages. As an indication of her increasing independence, Josie desired to celebrate her new life away from the prying eyes of her renowned family with a small, private wedding. Embracing independence, Josie Duggar's marriage marks a turning point in her life, and in symbolism for everyone who has followed her journey. It represents a significant shift in her life choices and her liberation from the limitations and expectations that have shaped the Duggar family's public image. Her early years were spent as a crucial part of. Josie, a married woman, is finally establishing herself as a member of the Duggar family. Many people believe that Josie's marriage marks the end of the show. The youngest Duggar child was often seen as the window into the last frontier of the Duggar legacy. The fact that Josie is now married suggests that instead of carrying on the family company, she and her husband will be forging their own course in life. As Josie embarks on a life journey with her new spouse that is less susceptible to, given the Duggar family's media attention, it will be interesting to see how they handle it. By rejecting the Duggar norms, she sends a powerful message about individualism and the ability to follow one's own path in life. By getting married, Josie might be finally letting go of her upbringing and the expectations her family had on her. A path of personal growth. While some of the Duggar children have found happiness within the confines of their family's values, Josie has made a different decision. Even though she is still figuring out who she is, she has grown up enough to get married. She is actively directing her own fate rather than mindlessly following a predetermined path. If she wants to be happy, make her marriage stronger, and be true to herself, this is the path she should pursue. When one considers Josie's early years, one can see how much she has grown. She became the youngest Duggar after overcoming significant health challenges at birth. Because she overcame overwhelming odds to grow into a prosperous young adult. Even at a young age, she became an inspiration to many. Her wedding marks the end of the journey and the start of a new phase in her life, one in which her choices, rather than the circumstances of her birth, will define her destiny. Her decision to follow her aspirations apart from her family might serve as motivation for both her supporters and her critics. It serves as an example of how it is quite possible to honor one's heritage while also embracing one's own individuality. Despite the fact that Josie's route is different from her siblings, it is evident that it is distinct. Proximity to upcoming occasions. It will be fascinating to watch Josie Duggar's adventure as she embarks on this new chapter in her life. Since Josie has chosen to get married and change her lifestyle, the Duggar family has drawn a lot of attention and will continue to do so. Her marriage, however, is more than a moment in time. It demonstrates her maturity, independence, and drive to live, living by her own standards. Josie's future is full with promise. She has demonstrated that she is capable of taking control of her life, making her own decisions, and creating a genuine and fulfilling life, regardless of whether she wishes to continue sharing her story or decides to step back from the spotlight. Josie Duggar, who is joined in her new chapter by her spouse, is obviously more than just a member of a well-known family. Her marriage marks the beginning of a new chapter in her life, and she has always been self-sufficient. Having seen, many have found encouragement in her narrative of transforming from a preterm child to a confident young woman. Following her marriage, Josie Duggar departs from her role as the Duggar family's baby and starts a life motivated by her own aspirations, dreams, and desires. Her life will be as extraordinary and unique as she is.